Have you ever considered that the very bed you sleep in might be the most dangerous place in your home? It sounds alarmist, I know, but as a medical professional, I spend my days looking at the cascading effects of aging. And recent clinical data from the National Institute on Aging is painting a picture we can no longer ignore. The way you position your body when you turn off the lights tonight could be quietly accelerating your aging process, compromising your cardiovascular health, and slowly stripping away your independence. For millions of Americans over the age of 60, sleep has become a battleground. You toss, you turn, you wake up with stiff joints, a foggy mind, or an aching lower back. Most folks just chalk this up to getting older. They tell themselves, this is just what 65 feels like. I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be. The problem isn't always how many hours you're in bed. The problem is biomechanics. It's how you are sleeping. Medical science now definitively shows that your sleep posture can either be a deeply restorative, healing mechanism for your brain and spine, or it can slowly break them down, cell by cell, night after night. Today, we are going to do a deep dive. We will explore the anatomy of sleep. We'll uncover the 4 worst sleeping positions you should strictly avoid in your golden years. And more importantly, the 4 clinically backed positions that can restore your energy, protect your memory, and help you wake up feeling a decade younger. Please stay with me through this entire presentation, because understanding the mechanics of just one of these positions might just add years to your life. Before we begin our clinical breakdown, if you appreciate this kind of in-depth, no-nonsense health information, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications. And if you find value in our session today, type the number 1 in the comments below. It helps me know what kind of medical insights you need most. Let's begin. We start with the prone position, sleeping flat on your stomach, face down. At first glance, it feels like a retreat. You burrow your face into the pillow, your arms are tucked underneath you, and you feel entirely insulated from the stress of the day. Many of my older patients, folks just like Arthur, a 72-year-old retired machinist from Michigan, swore by this. Arthur told me in my clinic, "Doc, it's the only way I can get my lower back to finally let go." But what Arthur didn't understand was the severe anatomical toll this was taking on his cervical spine. Think about the mechanics. When you sleep on your stomach, you cannot breathe through the mattress. You are forced to torque your neck to nearly 90 degrees to one side. You are holding that extreme, unnatural rotation for 6 to 8 hours. For a body over 60, this is a recipe for disaster. This sustained torsion slowly pinches the delicate nerves branching out from your cervical vertebrae. It compresses the carotid arteries, subtly restricting oxygen-rich blood flow to your brain. Over the years, this leads to chronic morning dizziness, unexplained headaches, and neuropathy, that tingling, numb sensation in your fingers that won't go away. Furthermore, you are pressing the entire weight of your torso against your diaphragm. As we age, our lung elasticity naturally decreases. By sleeping on your stomach, you are mechanically fighting for every breath, forcing your body into a state of shallow, rapid respiration. This means less oxygen saturation for your heart. Arthur's comforting habit was quietly starving his brain of oxygen and misaligning his spine. It is a silent thief of your vitality. But if the stomach is dangerous, what about the most common position in the world? What about curling up on your side? Let's examine the hidden risks of our next position. The tight fetal curl. Knees drawn high up to the chest, chin tucked down, arms pulled in close. Psychologically, this is the position of ultimate safety. It mimics how we developed in the womb. For Martha, a 68-year-old former school teacher from Oregon, this was her lifelong sanctuary. But Martha was coming into my office complaining of severe mid-back pain, shortness of breath during her morning walks, and a posture that was becoming noticeably stooped. Here is the clinical reality of the fetal curl for the aging body. When you tightly curl your body for a third of your life, you are locking your musculoskeletal system into a state of chronic flexion. You are shortening your hip flexors. You are stretching and weakening the ligaments in your back. Over time, this accelerates kyphosis, the forward rounding of the shoulders and upper back that drastically affects your balance and significantly increases your risk of devastating falls. According to orthopedic specialists, forcing your spine into a tight C shape compresses the intervertebral discs. In your 20s, those discs are plump and forgiving. In your 60s and 70s, they are prone to herniation and dehydration. Additionally, just like stomach sleeping, curling into a tight ball restricts the diaphragm. You cannot take a full, restorative diaphragmatic breath when your knees are pressing into your ribcage. Martha was literally suffocating her tissues, trading long-term mobility for short-term psychological comfort. The fetal curl is a trap. But what happens when we go to the opposite extreme? What happens when we lay perfectly straight? The answer might shock you. Let's move to a position many doctors used to actually recommend, but now deeply caution against. For decades, the medical community championed the soldier position. Lying perfectly flat on your back, arms at your sides, spine seemingly straight. It looks disciplined. It looks correct. But for the aging demographic, this position can trigger a cascade of severe physiological crises. Let me introduce you to John, a 74-year-old Navy veteran from Texas. John was a stoic man. He slept flat on his back his entire life. But his wife noticed he was waking up exhausted, his blood pressure was spiking in the mornings, and his memory was starting to slip. When we ran a sleep study on John, we found the culprit. Severe obstructive sleep apnea, drastically exacerbated by his sleeping position. Here is what happens when a senior lies entirely flat on their back. Gravity pulls the relaxed tissues of the soft palate and the base of the tongue directly backward into the throat. This narrows and often completely blocks the airway. Every time John stopped breathing, his brain panicked. It dumped cortisol and adrenaline into his bloodstream to force him to wake up and gasp for air. This was happening to John up to 40 times an hour. He had no idea. When you have untreated sleep apnea, which is massively worsened by sleeping flat on your back, your risk of stroke, myocardial infarction, and cognitive decline skyrockets. The brain simply cannot wash away the amyloid plaques associated with Alzheimer's disease without deep, uninterrupted sleep. Furthermore, lying flat is the absolute worst position for GERD, or acid reflux. Without gravity to keep stomach acid down, it pools in the esophagus, causing silent inflammation and even precancerous cellular changes. Stillness in this case is not health, it is a hazard. Now, we must address something I see in almost every household with older adults: the recliner. It starts innocently. Your back aches or your arthritis is flaring up, so you sit in your favorite chair to watch the evening news. You drift off. It feels so much better than the stiff mattress. Eventually, the recliner becomes your permanent bed. Betty, a 79-year-old grandmother from Florida, told me her recliner was a blessing. But 6 months later, Betty was in the ER with a swollen purple leg. Sleeping in a recliner every single night is incredibly dangerous. Why? Because you are sleeping in a semi-seated V shape. This position severely pinches off the venous return, the blood flow, from your lower extremities back to your heart. This pooling of blood leads to peripheral edema, swelling of the ankles and legs, and drastically increases the risk of deep vein thrombosis, or DVT. These are blood clots that form in the deep veins of your legs. If a piece of that clot breaks off and travels to your lungs, it causes a pulmonary embolism. It can be fatal. Beyond vascular health, a recliner prevents you from ever reaching REM sleep. The chair forces your body to remain slightly engaged to prevent you from falling out. You are stuck in stage 1 and stage 2 light sleep. Your brain never fully recovers. You age faster, your immune system plummets, and your muscles atrophy. The recliner is meant for a Sunday afternoon nap. It is not a substitute for a therapeutic sleep environment. I know we've just covered some heavy medical realities. It can feel overwhelming to realize that something as natural as sleeping might be working against you. But I want you to take a deep breath. The beautiful thing about the human body is its incredible capacity for healing. Your body wants to repair itself. Your cells want to regenerate. All they need is the right environment, the right biomechanics, and the right support. By making slight, calculated adjustments to your posture tonight, you can immediately begin reversing the damage. You can open your airways, decompress your spine, and improve your cardiovascular function before you even wake up tomorrow. Let's transition from what harms us to what heals us. Here are the 4 clinically backed, optimal sleeping positions for seniors. The first healing position is a refinement of side sleeping. Not the tight fetal curl, but a relaxed, supported side posture. This requires one crucial tool, a firm, supportive pillow placed directly between your knees and thighs. Let's go back to Arthur, our retired machinist with the bad lower back. When I took him off stomach sleeping, I transitioned him to this exact position. Within 3 weeks, he was walking without his cane. Here is the biomechanical magic of the knee pillow. When you sleep on your side without support, your top leg drops down toward the mattress. This pulls your pelvis out of alignment and torques your lumbar spine, your lower back. It compresses the sciatic nerve, leading to shooting pain down the leg. By placing a pillow between your knees, your pelvis remains perfectly neutral. Your spine rests in a straight, horizontal line from your neck down to your tailbone. Clinically speaking, we highly recommend sleeping on your left side. Anatomically, your stomach sits on the left side of your abdomen. Sleeping on the left keeps gastric acid below the esophageal sphincter, virtually eliminating nighttime heartburn. Furthermore, left side sleeping optimizes the glymphatic system, the waste clearance system of the brain, helping to flush out neurotoxins that accumulate throughout the day. It is a profound, simple fix for full body alignment. But what if you simply cannot sleep on your side? What if your shoulders are compromised from arthritis or old rotator cuff injuries? For you, we modify the back sleeping position using gravity as our medicine. We call this the elevated supine position. This is not achieved by stacking 3 pillows under your neck. That will only destroy your cervical posture. This is achieved using a gradual foam wedge pillow that elevates your entire upper torso by 20 to 30 degrees, paired with a small bolster pillow under the backs of your knees. When John, our veteran with severe sleep apnea, adopted this elevated posture, his apnea events dropped by 80%. By raising the upper body, gravity pulls the tongue and soft palate forward, mechanically opening the airway. Oxygen flows freely. The strain on the cardiovascular system plummets. Simultaneously, the bolster beneath the knees flattens the lumbar curve just enough to decompress the lower back. The hip flexors relax. The spine is bathed in spinal fluid. For patients with congestive heart failure, respiratory issues, or severe acid reflux, this 30-degree elevation is nothing short of a nightly therapeutic intervention. For our third healing position, we look at a variation for those who crave a sense of openness and freedom in their joints. We call this the modified starfish. This involves lying on your back, slightly elevated if necessary, but with your arms gently outstretched away from the body, palms facing upward toward the ceiling and legs slightly spread. Why palms up? It seems like a minor detail, but biomechanically, it changes everything. When you sleep with your hands on your stomach or palms down, your shoulders naturally roll forward. This impinges the bicep tendon and compresses the brachial plexus, a network of nerves in the shoulder. By turning the palms up and spreading the arms, you externally rotate the humerus bone in the shoulder joint. You open up the chest cavity. This allows the pectoral muscles, which are tight from years of driving, typing, and sitting, to finally stretch and relax. For seniors suffering from chronic neck tension, upper back knots, or tension headaches, this open architecture takes the mechanical load completely off the upper spine. It promotes deep, rhythmic, diaphragmatic breathing. It is nature's reset button for the upper quadrant of your body. Finally, we arrive at the apex of geriatric sleep mechanics, a position many sleep specialists consider the holy grail for the aging body. We call it the 45-degree side recline. Imagine a hybrid between elevated back sleeping and supported side sleeping. You are lying on your left side, but your back is resting securely against a firm, angled wedge pillow behind you. You are tilted back at a 45-degree angle. You have a pillow between your slightly bent knees. This was the position that gave Betty, who previously spent her nights dangerously trapped in a recliner, her life back. This position provides a masterpiece of medical benefits. First, because you are at an angle, the lungs can fully expand without being crushed by the weight of your own body. Second, because you are partially on your side, the airway remains completely unobstructed, silencing snoring and apnea. Third, the wedge pillow behind you completely unloads the spine, meaning your back muscles do exactly zero work to hold you up. Blood flow to the extremities is optimized. Digestion is supported. Joint compression is virtually eliminated. This position honors the fragility of aging joints while maximizing the physiological functions needed for deep, restorative, anti-aging sleep. As we conclude our time together today, I want you to remember something very important. Getting older is not synonymous with falling apart. Your body is a brilliant, resilient machine, but it requires the right inputs. Sleep is not merely a pause in your day. It is the most active, critical medical procedure you will undergo all year, and you perform it every single night. By taking control of your sleep posture, by utilizing a knee pillow, investing in a wedge, and avoiding the traps of the stomach, the tight curl, or that deceptive recliner, you are actively protecting your heart, nourishing your brain, and preserving your independence. Medicine isn't just about what you swallow from a prescription bottle. Medicine is posture. Medicine is alignment. Medicine is giving your body the respect it deserves when it goes to rest. Tonight, I want you to take a moment before you close your eyes. Assess your alignment, support your joints, and give yourself the gift of true biological healing. I hope this information has empowered you. I'd love to hear from you now. Which of these positions are you currently sleeping in, and which of the healing positions are you going to try tonight? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I read as many as I can, and your story might just inspire someone else to make a life-saving change. If you found value in this deep dive, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a friend or loved one who might be struggling with their sleep. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your trust. Sleep well, live well, and take care of yourselves.